내 피땀 눈물 내 마지막 춤을 다 가져가 내 피땀 눈물 내 차가운 숨을 다 가져가 내 피땀 눈물.
Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, for my first YouTube video, I'm gonna talk about my Irish college experience. Okay, so for both last year and this year in summertime, I've been spending 3 weeks in Knockadoon camp learning Irish, making friends, and having a long crack. So I'm gonna start off by kind of talking about what happens on like the first night, like when you first go down there in the evening. So when you first go down there on the Saturday evening, you go into like, girls stay like in at the top of like the hill, like a big like almost like a dormitory block type of thing. Then the lads, they would stay in like smaller houses. So you walk into like wherever you're meant to be staying, and then outside each bedroom door you have like a list of names of who's meant to be in the room. So like you have like the Cumtor, their name would be underlined or have a C next to it. And then so you pick your bed if it's not taken already, and then you go down, kind of check yourself in and stuff. And then after your parents leave, they just kind of like give an introduction to the course, like talk about the school, talk about like the rules and stuff, like, oh, don't be talking in English and all that. The bedrooms, they were like 4 bunks, so like 2 on the bottom, 2 at the top. You might have a bit of room for storage, and then a small window for brush and marks. I'll talk about them later. The food then was okay. Like, I did have to use noodles. I did end up queuing for the lobster pot that in the evenings then, but the food was okay. Like, so what normally happens was, I'm just gonna talk through this real quick. So in the mornings we'll have time for like breakfast and stuff, and then we have classes from like 2 classes, 10 o'clock to quarter to 11, and then 11 o'clock to quarter to 12, and then at 12 o'clock we're all in the hall then for Aoniac, which is basically just everyone singing, like the lyrics will be on screen. It's kind of like karaoke but in Irish. Then like lunch at around 1, so like everyone, it does take like a few minutes to get into the canteen, but then it's kind of like everyone's shouting and singing and stuff, so it's great crack. After lunch then it's kind of like our free time. In my first year, like between lunch and dinner, we were allowed to use our phones, so that was okay. Like, that was in my first year though. My second year things were different, but we had like coursey going on, so like sports or things to do with Ihan Hori, like parents' night concerts, so like drama, choir, set dancing, all them. Then sports would be like soccer, Gaelic football, hurling, all them as well. Then around 6 o'clock there's another meal, and then in my second year, between like after dinner and then the KD, we were allowed to use our phones, but it's kind of more free time, but it's kind of like not as busy. Then at like 8:30, then every night is the Kaylee, and the Kaylee's actually okay there. Like, I did have fun like at the Kayleys. Like what happened was like the boys all sat on one side of the hall and then the girls sat on the other side, and then every second dance it was like all the boys go pick a partner and then the girls go over and ask the lads. So it's like fair. So like if you fancy a lad, you know who you're gonna pick. Yeah. Then at the first weekend, full weekend on Sunday, we had our day trip to Tremor in Waterford. So we took a bus. It was about an hour and a half drive. But we went to Tremor and spent the day like at the amusement park and stuff. And then afterwards, then before leaving, everyone's gathered at the bumper cars and we're all just having just great crack. And then on the way back, then we stop in Dungarvan, like at a restaurant for food, and which the Irish College pays for. And then we kind of have permission to like go to the local shop and get supplies for the next week or something. The second week then it was kind of like, especially in my first year, I think the second week kind of flew compared to the first week in my first year, but then my second year then like the whole course flew. We did have a movie night. Was it literally the day after Tremor, we had a movie night. We were all like in the hall like with our PJs and duvets watching The Greatest Showman. So that was fun. What else? Then at the end of the second week we all walked to Ballymacoda. And I remember my first year I kind of got lifted back with some of my friends, like, but then this year we were like, nah, we're just gonna walk back with everyone else. Then the last week then it's kind of like, second weekend then it's like we have Ihan and Tishmahori, so like all our parents are like coming down, like, and there's, like I said earlier, there's like coursey like drama, Rinkasetta, choir, guitar group, music group. So there's like a concert with all of them. So like drama, like this year we kind of did our own like take of Love Island. Oh, it was so funny. And then choir, then we every year it's like a normal Irish song, and then for the first one, then the second song is normally like a pop song, like translated into Irish. Like this year we did Teenage Dirtbag, which I was happy about because normally in the canteen and all those places everyone would be like singing anyway, so during the nights after Kaylee, everyone's like, no, everyone's meant to be going to their bedrooms, but then there have been times where we have been allowed to have like little parties like in the halls, like everyone's sitting there with their pillows and blankets and stuff, and then they're just sitting away like having fun until like a teacher will show up and tell everyone to go to bed. Yeah, that has happened. A teacher has crashed a party twice, actually. What else? Then the last week then is kind of getting all the sports like finished and stuff, like a lot of like knockout stages and stuff, like they're trying to get everything finished for Ihe Journal. So also the last kind of Kaylee, like full Kaylee, as well, because like during the week then there's like a talent night and then a dance competition. Ooh. Then the last night then is kind of the last day. It's kind of like all like semi-finals and finals for like all the sports. And actually in the morning, actually on the last day, there's no classes, but we all just go around like signing each other's copies, leaving nice notes in them. It's like, and that's nice because like after my first year, I spent like days and days when I was bored. I just take out my copy from Knockadoon and just read through the nice messages I got from friends and stuff. This year I'm gonna do the same. Then Iha Journal is kind of like, kind of for the girls, it's kind of like dressing up and type of thing. Like everyone's straightening their hair, doing tan, doing makeup, wearing nice dresses. And then there's like kind of an awards night type of thing for like, there's different awards, like there's sport awards for like the sports and stuff. Second place in soccer there. And then other things like there's the sandcastle competition. Kind of like a competition between like the houses, so like the two boys' houses, and then the girls were kind of split in half, so like we kind of split into two then. And so there was a prize for that. There was a prize for the cleanest showmara, which was not my room anyway. What else? What else do we have prizes for actually? They also have like kind of, well, not necessarily Olympics, but like team challenges like during the last week, and then there's like a prize for kind of the best team. And then there's like prizes for everyone like who's been speaking Irish, especially for the Dalsy Nura. I guess it's kind of special for them because once they get their Fáinne, they're fine. Like, yeah, so like I got my Fáinne last year, in my first year. Some people don't get them in their first year because they, speak English. And then this year, I was given the certificate, just to say, oh, I've been making effort with Irish and all that. And this kind of basically means I'm Cúmtóir now, so like the Cúmtóirí then, like they have a night out during, like in the middle of the course as well, so next year is gonna be a big year for me. I have like another 3 years left anyway, so 3 years. Yeah. Honestly, they're not really that strict with Irish, like you're not gonna get sent home like other Irish colleges. Like, what they do is they talk to like all the Cúmtóirí and like all the leaders and stuff, and then they, at the end of the second week, they put together like a rough list of the people speaking in English. It's kind of like the list of Berla, but like at the end of the second week is kind of like a warning for the list of Berla. Like, I know I've heard from people that it's just, oh, just make an effort, you have like a week left and stuff. I did not make the list of Berla last year, but that's because I was scared in case my name was called out, because they called out the names of the people on the list of Berla, and which is kind of embarrassing because everyone knows. So you just start like, oh. Then Ihe Jarlock, there's another two prices. So there's Dash and Evelyn, and then Contour and Evelyn. So like Dash and Evelyn, it's the Dash you knew had 2 girls, 2 boys, and that's kind of saying, oh, they did more than just speak Irish. Like they kept on like the spirit of Glasgow. They just stood out from all the other Dash you knew, and then what happens is, instead of having to wait a second year to get your tastes to become a Contour, if you get Dash and Evelyn, you're a Contour. So that's kind of like fast pass type of thing. I did not get Dash and Evelyn, so I kind of spent 2 years kind of like, oh, kind of, you had a Contour just staying behind with everyone else. But yeah, I guess the spirit of Glash is kind of like the important thing. They were like, actually in my first year, like after the first week, like when I was still kind of, after like I kind of settled down and stuff, one night at Katie, I stood up on the bench, and if anyone knows that Augie chant, yeah, I kind of did it, and that kind of opened up lots of doors for me, to be honest. Like, it kind of showed everyone else that I'm, after settling down and coming out of my shell after my first week in my first year. Of course, I kept it up this year as well, and keep it up next year. And then I'd say, oh, I forgot to mention swimming. So like, swimming in Knockadoon, it's kind of like you get permission from like the teachers and stuff, and then everyone's at the beach then, and then all the Dash you knew of apparently have to be thrown in. Like, there's kind of like slippery then into the water, and then like kind of a drop at the side. There's kind of like a drop into like the ocean. So everyone's like, one person has your legs, other person has your arms, to kind of dip you in, and then kind of like, I'm gonna do like a 1, 2, 3, 8. I wasn't thrown in my first year, but I kind of let the lads just throw me in this year just to get it over it, because I know I don't want to do it in my Brazilian journal. Like, I don't want to do it in my last year. So first thing, like, I'd say bring bikini and like loads of towels and stuff. Bring loads of clothes. Girls, bring makeup and tan and hair straighteners. What else? Bring a copy and a pen for the classes, because you will be taking stuff down. And food. You're allowed to bring your own cereal. Bring in noodles. Bring money. Power banks. And other pieces, like obviously phone charger. But just even those small things that will just make you feel at home, just bring them. Like, you'll have to bring in like your own duvets in Knockadoon, because now it's different for all Irish colleges, but for the one I went to, we had to bring in our own duvets. And also, girls, dress for Icha Dernock now. So that is it. Shane. So I hope you all enjoyed my first video. I think it's a bit too long, but it will do. Yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching that video there. I know it's a bit like cringy and stuff, first video, but make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below, and yeah, I'll see you next time.